Welcome back to Art with Mr. Z. I've brought out my very cool light box so that we can take a look at how to deconstruct a work of art into its concept. So basically we're going to be looking at this scene from the movie Up. It's a really great movie, and what I want to do is just kind of like see if we can break what we're looking at down into some simpler elements, which we can then go ahead and kind of pick apart and see if we can build it back up from there. So the first thing I want to do is I want to just kind of like talk about what we're seeing here. We have two characters, and for those of us who have not seen the movie, these two characters are very different types of characters, right? One is very old, one is very young. You can see by the way they're dressed that one doesn't really surround himself with a lot of color, and the other one has lots of color. He's very colorful. Let's take a look at the posture, and this is where I want to use the light box, just for the purposes of illustration. This really says a lot to me. Look at how the direction of the way the characters are drawn really tells us a lot about their personalities. This tells us that we have one character who is open and really looking around and exploring the world, and another who is just sort of fed up and bored. The frown of his mouth echoes the shape of his head, and we have these strong lines that kind of point upwards. Even like the way that his eyes are looking just forms another frown. And this one we have like lots of happy kind of smiley faces going on. Everything is kind of pointing towards upward movement. And it's all flowing and it's all very curvilinear. Whereas this character, you can see even by like the shape of his clothing, you get a lot of corners and pointy edges, right? Whereas with here, you get all these round, kind of cuddly lines going on. So if we kind of turn back to the drawing that we kind of took away from this, what we see is like drab, right? No color, pointy. And this one is happy, round, colorful. And this is a contrast. This is something that is really supposed to bring out a character development, and that's part of the concept. That's part of the way that this story was formed. So that's something that I want to start with, okay? So now we have these two ideas that we can kind of then take and play with a little bit. So let's take another piece of paper. And starting from that point of, this contrast, let's see if we can kind of abstract that a little bit. We've got happy, round, maybe lots of smiley faces type of shapes on one hand. Lots of these ideas that I'm really just running with. I'm not giving them too much thought. I'm just really attacking them at their source. Happy, round, bubbly, that's going to be colorful, so I'll add color to it later. And this one is going to be drab, colorless, pointy, droopy, kind of this shape a lot. So we're really splitting apart that difference and making it as wide as possible between the two things. And basically that's the assignment. I want you to look for those elements in the artwork or the scene or the characters that you're looking at and break them apart into their fundamental ideas. You could trace it the way that I did, or you can just do it by looking and knowing what you know about the characters, but it has to be evident visually. So it can't just be something that you read in a book. I'd really like you to work from a visual source. For example, a character in a movie or a TV show or a video game, and maybe a scene that is taking place. A lot of these ideas can be found just in the setting of a narrative. So basically that's it. You're gonna break it down into these very simple categories. What is the thing, the character, the product? What is it really about? What is it trying to evoke? And then I want you to simply visually depict those things that your character or products are trying to evoke. And that's pretty much it. That is the concept art assignment for this time.